Assassin's Promise by Thomas Woodward. Chapter 105. Millie woke to the sound of people bustling about. She and Kayana had relaxed in the cool waters in the early evening the day before. Irna had been unwilling to come within close proximity of her, still believing her to be a demon. The woman had not wanted her children interacting with the two of them. It was a precarious position. She needed them and the protection Kayana offered, but she was loath to exchange more than a handful of short-clipped words with either one of them. Millie didn't blame the woman. She wasn't sure how she would feel if she had been in the woman's position. She certainly felt cursed. It was better than the alternative, though. She could still see the hypnotic eyes of the snake in her mind, its massive head weaving and undulating as it searched for her weaknesses. The snake was a reminder that life could be taken at any moment. She had survived. She tried to focus on that. Gerald hadn't been so lucky. He had been a kind man. She was sick of death and witnessing the acts of cold-eyed killers. She would become hard, like Kayana. Millie would learn to be strong so that no one could hurt her. It felt like a dream that could fade away like mist. A promise, then, to herself. Eddie would be proud of her. She didn't trust the men she had met the other day. They had looked at her, as if weighing how to use her. Kayana told her not to forget that these men had expected them to die before they even reached the tents. Kayana had warned her to keep her eyes open. Are you paying attention? Watch and learn, but do not entangle yourself. Millie stretched, banishing the darker thoughts. She could see warm sunbeams spilling into the tent's entrance. Scrambling out of her heavy blankets, Millie peeked her head out of the tent flap, and could see Kayana's graceful form holding a pose, breathing evenly. The young blonde woman stood with one leg straight, the other bent and balancing upon the first. She stood straight as a blade, her arms wide apart, balancing her. She stood unmoving. A slight wind stirred and pulled at her braid. Her hair was shorter now. Millie remembered Kayana cutting it after they had escaped the bandit camp. What did it mean? Was there some significance in it? It had been so pretty as a long braid that hung down her back. Her hair was only shoulder length now, not much shorter than Millie's own. Good morning, Millie! Kayana's bright voice caught Millie in surprise. Her cheeks reddening, Millie felt momentary embarrassment for watching the other woman. She felt awkward, but she wanted to learn so much. She could not help herself watching Kayana's training exercises. Kayana, may I join you? Millie felt shy, nervous. She always felt this way when she asked Kayana to teach her one of the poses. It wasn't exactly ladylike, but it was beautiful, glorious. Yes. Kayana smiled warmly and motioned for Millie to join her. I think we should move quickly, or we may miss something. There is much to be seen. Millie didn't want to miss the end of the training. She hoped she hadn't slept through most of it. Disappearing back into the tent, she dressed quickly, pulling on her simple shift. She almost missed putting an arm through the right hole. She was so excited to join Kayana. Hopefully there wouldn't be many onlookers. She felt almost naked in her small clothes, but it simply wouldn't do to try to follow Kayana's movements in a full dress. It would have to do. With a deep breath, Millie headed out into the sunlight, the sand already warm under her heels.